Hi, this is Kris Boyd doing a Reddit AMA live from New York. Hi Kris, who would you love to be the new Scotland manager and who do you think they'll appoint? I think I'm a bit like the SFA, still in a bit of shock after Steve Clarke decided to resign after the World Cup. Didn't see that one coming. I don't think the SFA seen it coming either. To answer your question, I'm not so sure. I think obviously the SFA work within a wage structure. It's going to be very difficult for them to go and attract someone who will want to work within that wage parameter. But also, when you look at David Moyes, he's been mentioned, he's still in charge of Everton, and you'd imagine he'll be for the foreseeable future on a big wage. I'm sure David will be absolutely delighted with me saying that. I would love to see David Moyes one day further down the line being the national team manager, because I think what he's done in club football has been outstanding. And another one who very underrated. I think West Ham fans now will understand what he brought to the football club. Have you ever thought about coaching and management? Yes. I had all my badges finished when I was still playing, the B licence, the A licence and the pro licence just as I finished up at Kilmarnock. I thought it was real important to do that because I see a lot of people finishing their career and then starting their coaching badges when, for me, I think that time should be focused on the job that you're already, if you're lucky enough to get one, fully focused on that rather than taking up time doing coaching badges. For me, as I said, it was important I had them all done before I was finished. That's exactly what happened. But I then started doing a bit of media work here and there, and I get my buzz out there. I still get to go to a game, 1 or 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 games a week, depending on how busy you are. But as I said, it's something, coaching, management, I wouldn't rule it out for the future though. All right, Kris, what is your Chinese order? Well. There's got to be some kind of ribs in there. Hot and spicy, barbecue spare ribs. I do like a beef curry, I've got to admit. I could go on and on and on. I like some hot and spicy stuff from the Chinese. Depends on what one you're getting from. I could go on and on and on. You don't get this physique here from eating one Chinese meal. It's got to be multiple. I do like to just order a lot and just pick away, and then usually go back to it 2 hours later and finish it. But if you're asking me, what's my favourite takeaway? Chinese all day long, followed very closely with Indian. That's my 2 favourites. What are the key ingredients for a good striker in the modern game? Pace, I think, for me, is a key thing nowadays. Well, it's always been there, but I think more so, more now than ever. You see some of the defenders, their speed. I think, strikers they got away with it because a lot of their movement was upstairs for a long period of time. You still need that, but when you look at the elite right now, there's one thing about them, it's blistering pace. So for me, I think that's one key thing. Also, if you're a striker, you've got to be able to finish. For me, off of both feet, not only your predominant one, but your so-called weaker one should be as close to your strongest one as possible, because it could be the difference of, maybe another 7, 8, 9, 10 goals a season, you don't know. But for me, I think both. So you should be able to kick with both feet and have you can't. Can you improve pace? I think it's something you're born with. That game intelligence always helps. But if you've got pace, you're on to a winner.
How would you rate Kane against Haaland, Kris? There's been a lot of chat about how they compare at this World Cup.
I think if you're looking for an out-and-out finisher, there's nobody gets near Haaland right now. But all-round package, I think you've got to take Harry Kane ahead of him. I think what he brings to a football team in terms of his link-up play. But to counter that, you could say the team that Haaland has been in for a number of years now, especially at Manchester City, there's players in and around him there that create the opportunities for him, so he's allowed to go and do what he's very good at. So in terms of finishing, I still think Haaland is out in front, but Harry Kane is an unbelievable finisher as well. As we've seen at this tournament, his numbers this year have been absolutely incredible for Bayern Munich. He's still an incredible finisher. I think Haaland just edges the finishing side of it. And then if you go to all-round football player, there's only one winner, and that one for me is Harry Kane. Why doesn't Scotland have any out-and-out strikers like yourself anymore? Well, I think, as a nation, we decided to go a different route in terms of coaching. And I think you can see that when you see the way the fullbacks are and the midfielders and wingers are all comfortable on the ball. But ultimately, you've got your failing somewhere. And for me, I think centre-back area has not been at a level that it was at previous. And you can maybe counter and say that the forward area as well. I do think we've still got good strikers that have got good attributes. But if you're looking for the elite level, we don't have that. I think when you go back to Kenny Miller and people like that, was an outstanding striker. Very underrated for what he'd done for club and country. And then you go way back before that. We've had some really, really good strikers throughout the years. But right now, Lawrence Shankland has shown that he can score goals. I think Che Adams has got his strength. There's other guys in there who have got their strengths, but in terms of that elite level, we don't have that in the forward areas. Goalkeeping situation is going to become a problem for the next Scotland manager going forward as well. As for me, the centre back area, because looking at it, that was where we struggled in the World Cup. We gave away far too many chances, made far too many mistakes, and we're punished for it. So whoever decides to take the Scotland job will have their work cut out trying to find elite level players to perform in those positions. Do you think Scottish football needs revamped with more teams in the top league and more focus on bringing through youth players from academies? And if so, how would you go about this? Good question, really good question. Well, I think to give kids an opportunity, they've got to see a pathway. I think a lot of kids become disillusioned with the game because they don't see a pathway there, and all of a sudden they fall out of love with the game. Our top clubs have to be seen to be giving our youngsters an opportunity to start their career off somewhere. They might not be good enough for, our two top teams are big clubs, are Rangers and Celtic. They might not be good enough there, but we've seen in the past where you've not been good enough there to go elsewhere and start a career. You only need to look at the Scotland national team right now. I think a lot of that group of players has been built on rejection, knockbacks when they've been younger. They've been able to find somewhere where they fell in love with the game again and kickstart their career. And, for all of them to go to a World Cup is an outstanding achievement. So I do think that pathway has to be there. But if it's not, then go and find somewhere that allows you the platform to showcase your skills and then see where it takes you from there, because you just never know. Never give up. That's what I'll say. Never ever give up, because there will always be someone looking for somebody out there. And hopefully, when you get given that opportunity, you can take it. In terms of revamp to the top leagues, no, I actually quite enjoy the format right now. I think you only need to look back at last season. There was some fairy tale stories in there regarding Falkirk and Motherwell getting the top six. There was obviously a little bit tight towards the bottom of the table. The playoffs at the bottom at the end of the season was really entertaining. St Mirren versus Partick Thistle. At the top end of the table with the title race was outstanding for a large period of time. 3 teams up there fighting. It was a really, really good season for Scottish football. A lot of the spotlight was on it as well, not only in the UK, but worldwide. There was a lot of people speaking about the title race. So, no, I don't think that the top league needs a revamp. I think what it does need is, though, more belief in our young Scottish players to give them an opportunity rather than going and signing a lot of players from overseas. We seem to focus on maybe giving other clubs these players an opportunity rather than their own. If you've got, for example, in the Championship, if you've got players there, allow your own to come in, give them a platform to go and perform rather than taking teams from other low. And then in the top flight, we seem to go and take a lot of players from down south or abroad or whatever, rather than giving their own an opportunity. So for me, I think we have to have more belief in our kids and give them the opportunity, and hopefully that'll improve the whole thing. Hi Kris, what would be your dream soccer Saturday lineup? Oh, good question. I think with the guys I work with right now, I enjoy working with them all. We've got a good camaraderie there, but the best days are when Clinton Morrison does goal zone and then he leaves just after or halfway through the programme. We don't need to see or hear him for the rest of the day, because he'll leave here and he'll go somewhere else for his next job. So that's probably the best one. When he's on goal zone, we can get rid of him halfway through it. But it doesn't matter who's on the panel. I thoroughly enjoy it, and grateful for the opportunity to sit in that famous, or those famous seats, because when you look back over the years, that some of the names that have been there is outstanding TV, and to be part of it now, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Do we really need hydration breaks, and what is your views on it? Well, I'm sitting here right now, and it's not even midday, and I could be doing my hydration break. So yes, I'm all for them. I think in terms of this World Cup, it's been a good addition. In terms of back home, no, I don't think so, especially in Scotland. It'll be the hot water bottle break we will need to heat us up, especially in the winter. But as it stands right now in the USA, I think it's the right thing to do, because some of the heat is incredible. I've experienced it myself, been out here for a few weeks now. So yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. Do you think Scotland would have gotten on better in a different group? 100%. I've said it all along. I've said it all tournament. I think you only need to look at the performance from Morocco and Brazil since the group stages, knocking out Japan, Brazil. We were at the game, outstanding team effort from them. Really poor the first half, second half really good. were able to knock out a strong Japanese team. And then you look at Morocco, everybody would have thought the Netherlands would have taken care of them. Was it the case? And yes, I've said it numerous times. When you look at other groups, I think Switzerland were the 19th ranked team in the world. They were the highest in their group. The USA were 17th. They were the highest in their group. We had two of the top seven in our group. It was always going to be difficult. I thought we had to win the Haiti game. We done that. And everybody thought if we'd have got 3 points, that would have been enough to get through. Well, that proved it was never going to be the case. Only one team, Senegal, managed to go through with 3 points. I think we'd have had to have beaten Haiti 7-0 with the way the results went the other two games, 7-0 to have made it that way. So that was going to be impossible. But yeah, I think had we have been in another group, we would have had a far better chance of qualifying. Thanks everyone for watching. That was Kris Boyd's AMA live in the US of A.